My experience when it came to Mojo with the group that I participated with, um, I would say was rejuvenating is the word that comes to mind. Having been through the Two Logical series previously, it was nice to bring the concepts that were taught, the concepts that I believe in and have passion about, to kind of bring those back to the forefront. When you get caught up in your day to day, there are things that you've incorporated into what you do that are fundamental beliefs that I think I have many fundamental beliefs that align with Mojo. But there are some things that maybe not as strong or not as prominent that stand out. So working with that group and kind of going through Mojo helped bring things, things around mindset. It brought back HPAs for me and really looking at those high payoff activities as I'm working with my staff. So I would say it was rejuvenating because it brought things back to the surface, and it allowed me, the group that I was a part of was a diverse group, right? Different backgrounds and stuff. So it allowed for me to gain some insights and validation from that group as well. So rejuvenating is the word. Discussions with the group, they were very interactive and tangible. I think the videos that led up to those discussions were good at driving home the points, the whole storytelling. I learned greatly through storytelling, and I think that's why I've connected so well with Too Logical and Mojo, is because so much of it it's tangible, it's relatable, you can visualize it. So in meeting with that group, each person was very free and open in sharing examples that you could relate to and have takeaways from. And I felt that I was able to gain some of that from them. And I believe I also offered situations as well, or questions. So it was very thought-provoking and engaging. It was a good exchange. Professional development impact perspective, one of the first things that I did is brought it right back to my senior manager, who at the time that we went through some of the previous training was one of my peers, and then now is a manager, and he as well is very invested in the program and all the training we went through. So the direct impact was I brought it back to him, which then he started to incorporate some varying topics throughout our team meetings. He now leads a group of 5 managers. And again, it brought things back to the table. So that was immediate. The other piece that I started to take away things with my team, I totally revamped my weekly team meeting agenda. Instead of just all being business, right? You've got to engage people. You got to create relationships with people. You got to create ownership. You got to give them the chance to participate, just all of those kind of concepts. So I revamped my staff meeting agenda. So just different small things. I was in the process of doing individual development plans with staff for this year. It's something our company has put forth this past year and is going into next year. So it allowed me to take out some of the information or review some of the information with high payoff activities and stuff that I could just meld things together. So the timing was great. I saw an immediate difference in my team after I revamped the agenda, because I have 2 fairly new within the past 6 months staff members, and I have 2 others new in the past year. And then I have a bunch of senior staff. So as you can imagine, right, senior staff, very confident, know their stuff, know their routine, not afraid to talk. They tend to dominate the conversation. And I've got these new people who are very eager to learn and interact, but trying to find a way to get that voice in there. So I found as soon as I changed that agenda, I began to see greater participation. I also began to see some of my senior staff kind of do the pause, the count to 10 or whatever, and give somebody else the chance to interact. And it just created avenues for everybody to be participating. I have one staff member who, whenever they kind of shared about things, it tended to be in a negative connotation. And because I mixed the agenda up so it wasn't so much business, I found that he started participating in a more positive manner, or was even directly emailing me after a meeting or pinging me on Teams or stuff, but more engaged in a more productive manner. So definitely saw a fairly quick turnaround within a month or 2 of where I wanted it to go,
You mentioned that your manager started to reintroduce some of those concepts back into your management meetings. What difference did you see there just among your peers and your team?
So I think a more openness to challenge one another. So many of us here have worked together for a number of years. I've been with the company almost 14 years now, and everybody I'm working with was here before me. I'm the baby per se. So you get comfort in routine, right? And you know somebody's kind of where their train of thought is or what their perspective is on a topic or whatever, and you just kind of agree with it, you flow with it. And I think bringing it up made us all be comfortable with being uncomfortable, challenging one another, asking questions, being okay with saying no. It's kind of empowered me again to say, you know, if I'm going to be a strong team member, I need to be able to say no without saying no. You know, I've got to keep that can-do attitude and find the words to be able to express maybe there's another option or maybe there's another direction, that sort of stuff. So I know that that has created more productive brainstorming situations and given us more options when we have challenges put forth in front of us.
What was your favorite part of Mojo? What did you love most about it?
I love hearing what other people are doing. So my favorite, yeah, that would be my favorite part of Mojo, is probably networking with others that don't have to be in like industries. Really, just being in a leadership role is all that matters. And being able to hear things that they've tried and succeeded with or failed with, and why, and what are those tools. I love to put as many tools into my toolbox as possible. I love stories. I love hearing, how did you get there? What was it like? And I love hearing the excitement and joy of their successes. So I think that networking piece is huge. If somebody approached me and said, hey, I heard you were part of Mojo, and I'm thinking maybe it might be good for a few members on my team, I would tell them, hands down, do not hesitate. Get them moving on it, get them listening to the messages, the concepts, have them re-listen to things, engage with their peers, ask questions, share stories. Being able to jump into Mojo will just, it's kind of like the diving board, right? It's that spring bounce you need to that next level in your professional career, or even just being more effective in the arena that you're in. So hands down, yeah, you got my vote.
What were some of the misconceptions or hesitations you had about Mojo in the beginning?
I trust and believe in the company, so really didn't have any hesitations. We work and live in a world that has become more virtual, more podcast centric, and all of those pieces. So I think this is a natural fit into where technology, where our working world is leading. I think it's vitally important, and one of the key pieces I think to Mojo is having the audio that you're listening to, but then the opportunity to network. You know, it's kind of putting both learning styles together for folks and reinforcing concepts. Surprised me. I think probably the thing that surprised me the most is, I have two things, I guess. The amount of stuff that kind of came rushing back, that I was like, oh, I remember reading about that. I remember talking about that and seeing value or excitement in a concept that had kind of fallen to the wayside. And I pride myself on kind of training and leadership and mentoring. And it's like, wow, there's still so much more out there that I just haven't been utilizing. And then the second piece that I found rewarding out of it was the energy, because it was energizing to be networking and reflecting to see what I'm doing and is working well and can share with others, but then also hearing the reverse, what's working well for others that they could share with me. And I add to that toolbox. So I would say those are the two pieces that really kind of were the big bangs. I can't say enough positive about Mojo, Too Logical, David, the whole kit and caboodle. The concepts are very applicable. They're very in the moment. They're not going to get old. They're things that are going to stay true and tested for the time, and would encourage anybody who has the opportunity to take part